Yeah, we push a lot of advisory, CFO, and tax planning because I think there's a really strong hook and there's enough of a need
Mm.
for that prospect to feel some pain. If you lean in and reach out to a business owner and say, "Hey Roger, when was the last time your CPA provided you with a job cost analysis?" And you own a construction firm, you're probably going to say, "I have no idea what that is. I'm not getting that."
Let's see here. Brian just texted us. Okay, he's good. All right, so we're going to continue.
Okay.
So when you're describing
Yeah,
that,
you're all
one of the
set.
good. So one of the things that resonates with me is the fact that the CFO and advisory services provide you better triggers to engage with the potential customer. There's more opportunity to stress some of the services you offer and some of the value you bring. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I always look at it like being the doctor that pushes on the bruise. And
Hmm.
especially around tax season right now, if I was a tax planner, I would pretty much around the start of May, after everyone has just dealt with a big hit to the IRS, they wrote that check, they're feeling the pain, reaching out to all of the business owners in their network. Hey, I'm just curious, how much, or not, I guess not how much, um, what did your accountant or what did your tax team last year do proactively to help ensure your IRS bill wasn't, super high? That's kind of botched, but leaning in with some a pain they just felt and saying, "Hey, look, tax planning is proactive throughout the entire year." Trying to if your CPA came to you last year in December, it's too late. Let's start now so that next year you don't have to write as big of a check to the IRS.
Yeah, the whole idea there is to stress the fact that what they just experienced doesn't have to happen again. Did you pay too much in taxes? Start now and let's plan this year how to avoid paying so much next year. It's essentially just trying to say that there's some planning or advisory we can implement in the coming months to actually legally mitigate your tax liability to the point that you don't pay as much next year. So those are the things that you'd want to maybe lead with, especially in May, as you mentioned, because these people did just pay perhaps more than they expected. So that's a great little marketing strategy there. So one of the things that I want to get into then is this idea of saturation overload as it comes to marketing. I spend a lot in advertising. I do a lot in advertising. Is there a strategy that is effective to getting appointments that maybe not be so intense?
I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to speak about some other things, not just LinkedIn. There's LinkedIn works really well,
Hmm.
but speaking about quality appointments, um, Google Business Profile, local service ads,
Hmm.
that's kind of like fishing with dynamite with what we've seen over the last couple of months, and I'm really excited to that we're doing this for our clients and what we're seeing. But local service ads is a play that a lot of firms I don't think are aware of. It's
Mm.
very big in the home service space where if your sink breaks at home or your toilet breaks, you're not jumping on Facebook waiting to hopefully see an ad from a plumber who can come by in a couple of days. You're going to Google. Plumber near me. I need a plumber ASAP. You're calling the person at the top of the list. Google and local service ads work so well for appointments because it's all search based and people already know they have a problem and they're looking for a solution. You just on the other end of the phone answering that, then booking them into your calendar to provide them with that solution and get paid for the solution. But it's all inbound.
I like how you're actually leveraging different platforms to achieve this because you're right. Each of the platforms have their purpose, and Google Business does give you the ability to take that person who is proactively looking, they're going out there and they're able to actually, through their search, find you just simply because you've set up the parameters correctly. So, Google Business, highly recommend that. That's very, very good. So, that being said, can you share with me a success story of someone in the accounting space who effectively did implement some of these things that dramatically changed their appointment setting?
Yeah, most recently, we have a client, Sean, in Fort Worth. We've been working with him for about 65 days. He's brought in close to 140 grand of new annual revenue, all from inbound calls from local service ads. So his phone just rings off the hook. We're answering all of his inbound calls for him as a front desk team. We qualify them. If they meet the criteria, we book them into his calendar. And on the front end, because we can't determine if it's going to be a personal or business call that's coming in. That's the, I guess, one caveat with inbound stuff and with Google. So what we do is he's like, hey, I don't want to work with anyone for tax returns, maybe less than $700. Okay, no worries. So we just say to them up front, hey, we can see when Sean's available. Just want to let you know our tax returns start at $700. Does that work for you? And everyone who says yes, cool, we book them right in. Super high intent. He knocks them out of the park. If they say no, hey, no problem. But there might be another firm out there that's a better fit for you.
Yep.
And we just move on to the next call.
So in addition to helping actually get the appointments, you're screening them as well, which is more or less qualifying them. And that being the gatekeeper gives him the opportunity to work with just those perfect lead types.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of getting back to the piece we were speaking about a little bit earlier. Don't fill your calendar with a ton of appointments just for the vanity metrics to feel like you're busy.
Yeah.
Save those spots for people who actually have intent.
So with that in mind, are there pitfalls? I mean, you talked about just filling your calendar as being kind of an alluring thing of I'm busy, but are there other pitfalls that somebody might actually experience as they're advertising online, things that they should perhaps avoid because of the vanity of them, or more importantly, the expense?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of proper ways to run your ads, especially when you're getting into paid ads, and there's a lot of right ways to do it. With local service ads, you are paying on a per call basis. So the number is not for sure, but it's around 25 or 30 seconds before Google will charge you. But that's why it is really important to have a very strong, to the point introduction on the
Mm,
phone.